Good morning. If you're watching this video, you are ahead of the class and looking to continue your work. I'm going to let you know this paragraph number 1, just like the graph, I am not going to require all the students in class to complete. It is an important introductory paragraph, but I think I want to focus on learning how to write the second paragraph more. So this is an extra credit assignment for those of you that are ahead, because this is something you should know how to do. It's not actually too hard to do for the most part. Okay, so you're going to notice that there are four parts to this. You're going to restate the research question. You're going to restate the hypothesis. You're going to explain your procedures in just a few sentences, summary, and you're going to answer the research question briefly. So these are all things that you've already completed in your lab. And you might wonder, why am I doing this? Why am I repeating myself? The answer is when scientists write a lab report. If I want to read other scientists' work, it can sometimes be a very long endeavor to read their entire thing. This is relatively short because, we're in high school. We didn't do anything crazy. But, actual lab reports from scientists can be very long. So I might read the conclusion first to see if this lab is useful for my own work as a scientist. So I start with the conclusion. So your conclusion basically has to cover, in a brief way, everything that happened in the experiment. Okay. But the main idea of a conclusion is to talk about the results and what they mean. So this is going to be your introductory paragraph that just reviews. Now, as you can see, I actually gave you sentence starters for every single part. What I would recommend that you do is highlight it, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste. Now, at this point, here, let me change this because I'm a teacher. You don't have to do this. All right, but then it won't make it weird colors and stuff. It'll just be easier. This is just for me as your teacher. You don't have to do this part. Okay, so now it won't do that anymore. So in this experiment, I was investigating. So now to finish this, you have to look up at your research question. All right. What is the effect of the amount of soap on the number of drops that fit on a penny? I could copy paste it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to rewrite it. Okay. So in this experiment, I was investigating what the effect of soap, what was the effect? I should say, what was the effect of soap on the number of drops that can fit on a penny? Okay. Um, You can say my hypothesis was, or you could say I thought that. Okay, either of those was fine. But now you can copy and paste your next sentence starter if that is helpful to you. Okay, and don't forget also, if you don't like to type, don't forget you can also use this cool tool called voice typing. Okay. So my hypothesis was, I look back up at my hypothesis, if I increase the amount of soap, then the number of drops that fit on a penny will decrease. So as a reminder, this can help you to type faster, but you do have to speak slowly and clearly for it to work. If I increase the amount of soap, then the number of drops that fit on a penny will decrease. Period. I click it again to turn it off, and it's done. Look at that. If you want to go to a new line, I can say new line. I didn't know that. It's so helpful. All right, the next thing is to use my next part. To perform this experiment, so this is a summary of your procedures. This is tricky. Students like to copy paste large parts of their procedures and put it here. That is bad, okay? Instead, summarizing is hard though. So this is the part that students struggle with the most. How could you briefly state what you did in this experiment? I will say you should make sure to be clear about your groups. Okay, like if you look at your data table, you'll want to make sure you talk about your 3 groups, and you'll want to make sure you talk about that you did 3 trials. Okay, that's as much as a hint as I'm going to give you for like what you should say here. But you're gonna, this could be a couple sentences, this could be one sentence, you know, it could be a couple different things. So I'm going to say dot, 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 because I'm not going to do that part with you. And then the last part of this that you need to do is you need to talk about, okay, so now that you did your experiment, what happened? Was the research question answered? This is actually really brief, okay? So you look back at your research question, which was what was the effect of the number of drops that fit on a penny? And you just basically say whether or not the amount of soap affected the penny. I discovered that soap does have an effect on the number of drops that fit on a penny. I don't go more into detail here because all the details will actually be in the next paragraph that you do. So don't go into details here, okay? It's just an introductory paragraph. And that's it. That's how you do the paragraph 1.